it to the. All right, let's see if that fixes it. If it picks us up as talking, maybe not. That is so weird. I don't know, I won't pin that one. Yes, we know we're streaming. Just maximize that screen, maybe. There we go. All right. We probably want to full screen that so it doesn't have the header. Thank you. All right. We are back on. It is, what time it is? 12:51. Ms. Green, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm John Kirtley. I'm the director of the Board of Pharmacy. I'm going to tell you a little bit about kind of who you're speaking with this afternoon and a couple things about this procedure. On that side of the table, these are all of our pharmacy board members here for our informal conference today. Dr. Lynn Fouché on the end, Dr. Rodney Richmond, Dr. Brian Jolly, Dr. Lenore Newsom, who's the chair of our informal committee, and Dr. Clint Boone. Myself, Miss Ashley Vales, who's our legal counsel. We're both full-time employees here in the board offices. We're here today about your pharmacy technician application. In this, it looks like, I'm trying to see, it looks like you told us that nothing was going to come back on your application, but we did find some stuff, which the board members are going to want to talk to you about. In this process, after Ms. Vales gives them an overview of your application, which they're just now seeing on their little pads, we will have a conversation. They'll come up with some decision of what they want to do with your application. Could be to approve it, could be to deny it, could be to say they'll reconsider it in some future time frame. Whatever it is, you could either agree or disagree with. If you agree with it, we go forth with whatever they've asked us to do. If you disagree, you kind of have the choice of either saying, forget this, walking away from it, or to request a formal hearing before the full board at a later date. Formal hearing is all 8 board members, so these 5 plus 3 more, hearing officer, court reporter, everyone gets sworn in, and it's just a more formal procedure similar to what you'd see in court. So I was asked, do you have any questions about how this works?
I don't.
I'm going to turn over to Ms. Vales. At any point, if you do have a question about something's going on, get our attention, ask us any questions you have. We'll do our best to help answer them. Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Green is here today for consideration. She didn't disclose any arrests on her background, but there was one from 2017, February 11th. She was arrested and charged with possession of marijuana, a misdemeanor. On March 31st, 2017, she pled guilty to that charge and was sentenced to $1,030 in fines and court costs with credit given for work performed in jail. Her driver's license was suspended for 6 months with a permit authorized for work or school, and her driver's license was reinstated on September 16th, 2025.
Okay. How are you doing today?
I'm good, how are you?
All right. You want to explain in your own words what happened back in 17?
Okay, first I want to clear up, okay, when they asked about this, I asked about it and she said that she didn't think it would come up or it was relevant to the conversation, so I didn't think to say something. But whenever the situation happened at hand, I was young. I was with one of my friends and she had a pack of cigars and had 2 blunts in it. And when we got pulled over, he was just basically like, whose is it? And me being the person I am, I'm like, I'm going to give her a chance to speak for herself. And he was just basically like, well, if it's not hers, it's your car, so it's yours. And I'm like, well, okay. I was like, well, it's not mine. And he was like, well, she said it's not hers, so it's yours. And I was like, okay, cool. So me just being the person I am, I'm not an argumentative person. So I just try to be like, okay, cool. I let it be. And I took the charge. Again, I was young, so I wasn't consciously thinking like I'm taking a charge for somebody else. It was just more like I didn't want to put my friend on the spot, and I was young and wasn't thinking. So yeah, that was the situation.
Okay, is that person still your friend?
No, yeah, definitely got rid of that friend from that day on.
Okay, so were you without driver's license until this year? It says your license was reinstated September 16th of 2025.
No, I had a driver's license for a long time. I don't know why they say that, but no. I've had my driver's license for a long time. That happened in 2017. I got them reinstated like the end of maybe like midway through 2018.
Okay, I thought that was kind of strange. So,
Because when she read it off, I was like, maybe I just didn't hear that right.
Again, it's on the court paperwork.
Mhm.
If you look on the District Court of Howard County in your paperwork as well, if you still have that handy. It's on the second page. The last docket entry, DL reinstated on 9/6/25 for reason of satisfied. So sometimes if you don't pay your fines, they don't let you have your driver's license. They don't have to tell you. You just don't have it.
Well, I've been to court.
Yeah, I don't know, but that, I'm just,
Looked at it.
There's a lot of misconstructions about the situation with Howard County because they changed my charge a couple of times from different stuff. So it was a lot of confusion there. So I don't know what happened, but I definitely had my license for a long time at this point.
okay. But you've paid back all those fines?
I did community service and I paid my fine.
Okay, because they charge you a hefty fine.
They did.
So,
Have I used marijuana? I did at the time. Probably like the beginning of this year when we first started these classes. It's been like a up and down thing, but I did. I stopped at one point, Marchish maybe, and then we've been back and forth with this situation, so it's just been like. But I've been around marijuana for sure. So yeah. Probably maybe like 2 months ago, if I'm being honest.
Okay, your statement that you submitted says that I have never used marijuana prior to this incident nor after.
I
That was
didn't
on
write the
September
statement.
16th.
I didn't write that statement.
Is that not your signature?
Like the conversation, I don't know if like what was going on with them at the office, but we did have this conversation and I let them know like I have used marijuana before and prior to this coming up, I didn't have anything. I had stopped for a moment and then I did start back.
What I'm curious, what office are you talking about? Are you in a pharmacy tech program?
Adult education.
Okay. Where,
When I took the information up there, I took it to her and we wrote out, well, I told her what I needed. Well, she basically told me I need to write out a statement for it because I just turned in my paperwork. And when we did that, I did tell her that I hadn't used marijuana, but I did start back using marijuana afterwards.
so that's the statement. Is that your statement?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like I talked to her when we had this discussion. She told me I needed to write out a statement. I didn't know I needed a statement.
Okay.
But as far as marijuana use, I've had used marijuana in the last 3 months for sure. But once it came up that I would have to do this situation and I would get it together. Because at first I really had thought that I just wasn't going to have a chance with my license.
And part of it is, with marijuana still being a federal issue, even
Right.
with some of the protections in Arkansas, like, did you get a card or you just got marijuana?
No, I just got marijuana.
Okay. So even if you had like a medical card, there's some prohibitions for like employers. If you're in a safety or security conscious position, which in a pharmacy, you'd be handling legal controlled substances, like it's a problem.
Right.
Generally, I don't know what they're going to say, but generally, if you have in recent history been using marijuana, oftentimes they won't approve it because we can't send someone that we know is using an illegal drug into a legal drug situation.
Right.
So.
And which is understandable. But like I said, I've did what I could. I even talked to my rehab about it. I told them I was just basically trying to get my mind back on the right track because I did go for emotional support at one point.
Sure.
So yeah. But as far as the medical card, they did discuss that with me as to getting one. But once I started doing the class, I was just telling them like I was trying to get to a point to stop it.
And it's one of those things where, I think everybody up here, we know people that, medical marijuana may be what they feel like is the best treatment for whatever they have going on, but it's a conflict for us to work in, certain areas of healthcare with it.
Right. And I was not well, I wasn't trying to consider the situation at the time. I probably was beforehand when I did like my emotional support stuff.
Yeah.
But once I decided like I wanted to step into the medical field, I was like, well, I'm just leave that where it's at. And I've been trying to do my best to just veer from that. I've been cutting people off. I don't even want people around me that are trying to influence me at this point because I'm trying to elevate.
I have a question. So did you
Yeah.
fill out this application online or did someone from the school do it for you?
No, I did it online. I don't know if it's like a communication thing between them or y'all, but I did communicate that there was a lot of issues with me trying to do the application because I ended up having to go to the adult education center to do the application actually.
Okay, because you said you'd never been arrested or cited or charged with anything on your application. You answered that no.
And that's what I was saying. Like, I didn't think that was relevant because at the time I was still in high school. So I wasn't thinking like I was 18 at the time. But like in my mind, I was still in school. So it wasn't clicking to me that would come up.
Yeah, but you were 18 or older then.
Right. And that's what I'm saying.
Not juvenile offense.
I was still in school. So I wasn't thinking like that was something that would come up.
Okay.
Considering recent marijuana use and considering non-disclosure, I recommend we give her an opportunity to withdraw her application.
Anybody else have any comments? Okay, do you understand the process why we're asking you to withdraw your application?
I do partially. Yeah.
And part of that is like Dr. Richmond and Dr. Newsom are explaining, like, they're asking if you would like to withdraw your application before they make a decision on it. Because if they make a decision to deny it and you decide to do something else, and a lot of times, just like we ask, have you had another professional application denied? You would need to put yes and have to explain, well, I went to the pharmacy board and this, that, or the other. Versus if you withdraw it, you don't have that negative decision.
Okay, so is there a point to where I could reapply? I went through the whole education.
I think there is, you could reapply, but the problem is in general, like this board is going to want to see a history of no substance abuse, misuse, or anything else. And I can't tell you how long that is or exactly how, like if you went to work for someone and they actually do random drug screens that include, marijuana, opioids, benzos, all the drugs, and you go, hey, I've been working there for 6 years and I've got, all these drug tests to show I haven't used marijuana, I haven't used other drugs or anything like that. I think that's a good thing, but I don't think it's like a come back in 3 months type thing.
Okay.
So they usually want to see a decent history because, and part of it is, we have pharmacies that have either drug diversion issues in them, or if you have staff that is potentially impaired, that harms the patients that are there. So
Understandable.
So the question they're asking is, would you like to withdraw or do you want them to take a vote?
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're gonna deny it at this point, so I might as well withdraw it.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, like in future reference, they probably should speak on this before they send people through these educations. Cause I've spent the last 6-7 months doing education for something that I'm not gonna be able to get.
And I'm not exactly sure who it is you're with. So like the schools that do this, we've had
It's the U of A, I think,
University of Arkansas. Which location is it?
Open Texas County.
Hope. Okay. Hope, Texas County. Because generally speaking, like if you were to go to pharmacy school, you hear it right off the bat. But the questions that we ask on the application, like if you're having to answer yes on that, then it immediately tells you you're going to have to apply for a waiver and everything else for those specific reasons. So I get there is a misunderstanding that you didn't think it would apply, but if you have a question, if you get pulled over by the police and they go, have you ever been arrested? And you go, I don't think that's going to apply because I'm not drunk driving right now. And that was a drunk driving issue before. If you say no, well, they're going to go over their computer and see that. And they're going to think, man, she's not telling us the truth. So it's a kind of an open-ended question that if the answer is yes, it's yes.
And we're not affiliated with any schools.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can reach out to them and tell them that, but we're not affiliated with those schools. You don't technically have to go to school to get your pharmacy tech license. So.
Cool beans.
Well, Ms. Green, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Good luck.
See if we've got. The what?
Okay.
The pool door. What? Oh, yeah. It had to be solid core wood or indestructible metal or something like that.
Ms. Johnson.
Right. That is going
She's
to
been
be
tab 5.
tab 5. Okay, pull up 5. How you doing, Ms. Johnson?
I am doing okay. Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely. I'm John Curtley. I'm the director of the Board of Pharmacy, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about kind of who you're speaking with this afternoon. On that side of the table, these are all pharmacy board members, starting at the end with Dr. Lynn Fruchet, Dr. Rodney Richmond, Dr. Brian Jolly, Dr. Lenore Newsom, who's the chair of our informal conference, and Dr. Clint Boone. Myself and then Miss Ashley Bales, who is our attorney and legal counsel. We're staff members here in the board offices. We're here today that you have filed a pharmacy technician application. You let us know a couple things we're going to come back that we'd have to talk about. So thank you for being forthright and letting us know that. In a moment, I'll let Ms. Bales give the board members an overview of your application, which they're just now looking at. And then they're going to have some questions for you. At some point, they're going to come up with a decision of what they'd like to do with your application. Could be to approve it, could be to deny it, could be to hold it and consider it at some later date. But whatever they decide, you can either agree or disagree with. If you agree with it, we go forth with whatever they've asked us to do. If you disagree, you kind of have the choice to just say, like, forget this and walk away, or to say you'd like to have a formal hearing before the full board at a later date. The full board is 3 more board members in addition to these, court reporter, a hearing officer, everybody gets sworn in, and it's just a way more formal procedure than us having a conversation like we are today.
Okay.
So I always ask, do you have any questions about how this works?
Sir, I do not.
Okay. At any point, if you change your mind and you want to ask us a question, get our attention, ask us any questions you have. We'll do our best to help answer it.
Thank you.
Sure. Ms. Bales?
We've asked Ms. Johnson to come in today. She did disclose arrests or citations on her application. There is one, October 30th, 2021. She was arrested and charged with theft of property, a Class A misdemeanor. She entered a pleaded guilty to that charge and was sentenced to $300 fine and court costs and 1 year jail suspended. The case was closed on January 5th, 2022. Due to it being under 5 years from her application, we brought her in on that one. And there's also in your packet several traffic violations from 2015, 16, 22, and 24.
Yes, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak on that. So that is correct. During that time, I did receive a citation for a theft of property at Walmart. Unfortunately, it was related to trying to obtain some groceries because I did not have the funds at that time. I did go ahead and I pleaded guilty. And after a year, I was able to have my charges. I did have them I'm so sorry. I'm a little nervous. I was able to have the charges expunged from my record. And since then, I've made an effort to make sure not to get into any trouble and not make any of those previous mistakes that I have made in the past. But that's what that was related to. And of course, some traffic violations, unfortunately. Thank you.
But you're good with traffic now, you're not getting in any type of trouble?
That is absolutely correct, ma'am. I have not gotten any other violations related to traffic.
And what brings you to the world of pharmacy?
Yes, what brings me into the world of pharmacy, this is actually something I've always been interested in. One of my best friends, she told me about an opportunity that was available with the school that I went to at AECC. And she was letting me know that there was actually coverage for the classes if you were receiving any type of governmental assistance. And I thought it would be a wonderful opportunity to be able to better my life with some different opportunities. I did receive my associates, and at this time, I am in school for social work. But I wanted to be able to intertwine those two for a career in the future.
Second.
With a motion and a second on the floor, any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The motion passes. You get your license.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck. Thank you.
Why don't we see if we can get Chester Barber? Yeah. See if I've got him here. So we get him on, it won't take very long. Dr. Boone was asking me what I know about AECC, and I said not very much. I think it is I think it's a state program. So if you are on some sort of government assistance and you want to look at different career opportunities that they can help pay for, I think there's just literally a list of like trade practices, programs that you can get and they'll pay for. And, pharmacy technician seems to be rising in popularity according to today. So it's not that they're school, it's that they're helping steer people to help get their education. Yeah, that's it. It is so wild that we'll have a meeting where we're like give 10 people notice and 11 show up and we don't even know how somebody got here that day. And then we have 20 that we send notice and half of them show up. Under tab, it's actually tab X, intermediary delivery station. That's our 345. If you guys, it's just a review of when I had sent Dr. Barber, like, here are the guidelines for pickup stations and everything else when he'd actually asked about also being able to, have a pickup box or something, which we explained like that's not really an option. He does have, like, with his labels, he has some real time counseling information with a QR code, and which I'm like, hey, that doesn't replace counseling; it's an adjunct to counseling, just like for mail order pharmacy or any other type of home delivery, intermediary delivery service. Ronnie, is your class ready for their test? It, I think, Dr. Richmond and I were just talking earlier on law test stuff. I said, I tried to end, this year's review did take longer because it is a more onerous thing to flip through and pointing out some stuff that comes up. But I try to be pretty clear with the students that if you don't understand how controlled substances work, from who has authority over them, who you can and cannot either sell them to, or how you track them, or what schedule something's in, to know how those rules apply, you're not going to do well on this test. So
I gave them.
So as soon as it gets done. Okay.
That works. Sorry.
I gave them as a. So I'll give
Did a
them-
Kahoot, basically.
Yeah. All their exams within 70 to 75 questions. So for third exam, I tried to put more of a mix. Give them a semblance of what the state exam. Types of questions. And more than half the class,
Oh, wow.
question correct.
Yeah.
And I had two people. Could have done well, but they did. But they've also historically examined prior to both of those students.
But then studied up.
Yeah. I told them, I said, if 100% of you pass this exam, this be my favorite law class of all time. In years past, because it's a mad dash trying to get everything in
Yeah.
50 minutes. This year I rewrote and read.
Oh, wow. To get it all in.
Every. So I spent 15 weeks.
Yeah.
Also in the past, it was difficult getting all the time in, but sometimes there were still sometimes I went over. There were also some times that I went under, so I'm part of that stuff.
Yeah.
But there was not a single time.
Good. It has, I always joke that that's the most boring lecture ever because it is, in many ways for me, that's the hardest thing to go through each year because it is just monotony of scroll through and saying like, we're not going to ask you fees. We're not going to ask you expiration dates. Those are things that are very evident on your, on your permit itself, but you do have to know what your CE requirements are. And if you are licensed in multiple states, you got to know it for every one of them.
I hope we get to go through overall. And then we said, okay, you further. Now, this is how I would approach it. If I'm going to inspect your pharmacy, inspection 1+1. They're hearing the repetitives, then they hear your review, and then you're scrolling. They're hearing the same thing again.
Over.
You just see the headlines going on. Both of us, so the best way for you to attend is that. That's it, download.
Yeah.
Highlight, make notes. It'll tell you which areas are important to know about. So after it was all of that, they said, okay. Otis and see clearly what it is that we need to think.
We've got more states now that are looking to take advantage of the kind of beta testing NABP did of allowing people to take their MPJE after they have completed their law class and their curriculum instead of waiting until after graduation. And, of course, the funny thing is it's like, I know it is a ton of extra work for NABP staff because they have to do basically a transcript verification that the student has made it through that part of their education in a state that would allow it. But, the overall hope is that it also means, you have more students that are getting an official login with NABP faster to get their NABP ID so that they have that. And then when they graduate, they only have one bottleneck with their NAPLEX versus two. It's, I don't know. And I mean, it sounds like most of them that are taking advantage of it, like you don't have to do it then, but you can. And the people who do and get it out of the way, I think they really like it. They're like, I just had my law course in my College of Pharmacy and I was able to go ahead and take my jurisprudence exam now. Well, it's fresh. Like it was better for me, I guarantee you.
I like what you do.
Yep. No, it's, we have said for years, even when I was a student, we hear arguments and somebody will go back and watch this video and get mad about it. Sometimes we'll have people say, well, why does the Board of Pharmacy, like you will be taught the law wherever you go to work? And I'm like, you may be taught the wrong way where you go to work. And, for me, when I was in the community as a senior pharmacy student on rotation, or when I had senior pharmacy students on rotation, like I had already had to prove, and they already had to prove a minimum competency working knowledge of our law and rules. And we have interns that will say, I don't think this is right. I'd like to discuss this with somebody. And it has probably headed off a lot of headaches over the years here. Oh, I get that. Yeah, well, you've just played the telephone game hoping that someone learned it right in the first place. If you ask the person next to you. Now, one thing I've loved this forever, with the, it's the pharmacy Facebook group. When I get on there and like someone finally tags me in something and I see it and you've already had someone cite the law book for what it says, I'm like, there you go, Lynn, you got it. That's what it says. And I think that got a lot of people more in the mode of, I don't think it's this, it's here's what it is. So it has probably helped us as much as anything to avoid a lot of issues. But and for the other board members that don't know, we're talking about, Dr. Holland basically came in and gave the what to expect when we're inspecting. lecture that I started years ago. And I told the students in the review, like, if you are going on a rotation somewhere and it's a permitted pharmacy, hospital, or community, like, ask them to see their last inspection, because they should be looking at it. If there's something that was advised for corrective action and you're a student, you might ask them, like, hey, how did you fix this? What have you done? And if they go nothing, like, that's not a great answer, because if you keep getting written up on the same thing, you're going to get an invitation to come see the board on it. So,
Well, this year, another thing this class.
you on? You're not even on.
This site.
We're still live now.
Oh, okay. Something that this class this year did was I told them, I gave them 2 extra credit, but sort of a higher order assignment, that you can have a fix the law. And so you can identify what a law is, and then I want you to give me a full essay on how you would fix it because you think there's a problem with that law. I've never had anybody do that. But I also told them, I said, because it's hard for them.
I get that about every 4 to 6 months. Somebody wants to educate me on how we need to fix the law. And I'm like, if it's a statute, that's not us, man.
Well, and they would be reviewing the regulations,
Yeah.
because I don't teach the statutes, at least for state law. But I told him, I said, I know it's hard for you to get to the board office to attend a meeting. I said, but it's on YouTube, so I'm
Yeah, you can
happy
watch
for
it.
you to access it there. I said, I want you to pick a case. And then I tell them, same as they do for their case studies, that I give a case study every other week. And I have them write it up according to the IRAC method.
Oh, yeah.
What's the issue? What's the rule or regulation that governs that issue? What's your analysis of what happened? And what do you conclude either happened or should have happened or whatever? And so I said, pick out a case that the board has heard. I said, and then I want you to analyze the board's decision and why or why not you don't agree with that. And if you don't agree with it, give me what your alternative opinion would be. And I said, I'm looking for you to tell me how you interpret that law and what you think would be a fair thing to happen. I had 12 people.
Oh, wow.
I had never, ever had a single person take it, and 12 people did it this year.
I'd be interested to take a look sometime, see which cases they looked at. Because I mean, there's some interesting ones, especially in the last year or two.
In October.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. From the October meeting. Something think about which one you heard. You can probably imagine.
It's also funny, over the years, there've been a couple times where the board has assigned someone they had to go talk to the class. And then hearing, the class hearing their version of something. And then there's at least one where then I gave like the Paul Harvey the rest of the story that they didn't bother to explain. But I mean, when we were seeing some of the really big like drug losses in pharmacies, I went in one time, I was like, everybody get a blank sheet of paper or a slip of paper or a poster, whatever. And I asked them these questions. I said, all right, how many controlled substance pills do you think it is okay to go missing from your pharmacy before you notice it? And I was like, I'm not joking, like write down a number. Like, all right, how many do you think could go missing before you expect to lose your ability to practice for a month to a year, to actually get suspended from practice? How many doses do you think could disappear before you expect that you'll never be able to be a pharmacist again? And then after I was like, all right, everybody pass that in, put your name on it, I'll use it against you later. And they were like, wait a minute, what? I said, no, I'm just kidding. I said, but let's start talking about the realities. Yeah, it's like I was absent that day. Let's start talking about the realities of the volume of drugs that are moving through like community retail pharmacies versus hospital settings, and how you're able to track and trace. I mean, the ability in hospitals to track and trace is just insane compared to, it's patients getting 1 or 2 doses of something, not a patient getting 3 prescriptions of 30 to 90 pills each. But then and I said this last week at a conference, then we went in and started talking about all the efforts we'd made for all these years to help try to stop shrink and diversion and stuff in pharmacies. And then the first time that we got like the PDMP numbers of how much was legally dispensed, and I tell this story, it's a true story. Like I was actually at the gym working out, and like between a couple things, pulled out my phone. I was like, "Oh, hey, we got the PDMP data finally!" And I saw this graph, and I literally like sat down and it was so shocking to see the 100 and I think it was like 119 million hydrocodone and 63 million oxycodone and 70 million alprazolam in the single year. And I sat down and I forwarded it like to Kirk Lane at the time, and I called him and I'm like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" It's like I said, "Pull up your email. You're gonna have to tell me, are you as just like gobsmacked with these numbers as I am?" And he and I were both like, we are looking like this before any of the state by state data had ever really been seen. We knew we had the data point that in 07, Arkansas teenagers had the worst opioid abuse problem in the US based on some of the high school questionnaires. But like we knew there was volume, but we had no idea the quantification of the volume of it. And he and I were both just like, "Oh my gosh, this is a whole different thing." And then it comes out, well, we were number 2 in the US per capita on the number of scripts, but not just the number of prescriptions, but the number of pills was just shocking. And there are a couple of guys I figured out were docs, and I said, "Hey, what kind of message you figured?" "Oh, I'm a surgeon. I'm a this." I said, "All right, what is the population of the state of Arkansas?" And they're like, "Oh," and we discussed it's 3.3 million people. I said, "How many hydrocodone would be legitimately prescribed in a year for this population?" And I mean, the numbers I would get would be like 4 million pills. And I was like, "Here's the actual number." They laughed at me and walked off. They're like, "That's the whole United States. Where are you getting your data?" I was like, "No, this is the Arkansas data." And they're like, "No, you don't know what you're talking about." And I'm like, "No, actually, I'm one of like 3 people in the state that has probably seen this data at this point. It's coming out. I'm telling you, this is the real number." And they just they laughed like I was a crazy guy and walked off. At least one of them later, he was like, "Hey, didn't you tell me something about that data one time?" I was like, "Yeah, months ago." He's like, "So that's for real data, isn't it?" And I was like, "Yes, that's for real data." But it was shocking.
Well, the students got a big kick of watching. I mean, in as much as, remember the interns when they came down?
Yes.
We have 3 of their students enrolled now.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, they still talk about
Yeah.
the hearing and how much they're looking forward to being able to come back again.
Good deal.
It was funny though. This year so we had the hearing on Tuesday. So I have law class Tuesday, Thursday. But when I went back to class on Thursday, somebody mentioned something about the hearing, and then 2 other people piped up. They said, "Yeah," and they said, "I learned one thing." So what's that? They said that we don't ever want to be cross-examined by you.
Yeah.
I can live with that.
Yeah. We're fine with that. So nobody else from our 1:00.
Nope. I have one person that confirmed he was going to be here for 2:00, and then he called Nancy and said, "Never mind, I'm not coming." I have another one at 2 that I think will be here.
Okay.
Then I got a hold of Dr. Barber and I told him to just.
Yeah, he'll call in whenever he can. I guess we can take another break till somebody shows up, till he pops on. I wonder why our symbol is backwards on that.
Don't know.
You know that?
Mhm.
That water?
Mm-hmm.
There's no water supposed to be.
All right, Mr. Machado.
That's my name.
All right, I'm John Kirtley. I'm the director of the pharmacy board. I'm going to tell you a couple things about who you're speaking with today and how this process works. On that side of the table, these are all pharmacy board members that are here. They're decision makers on your application today. Starting beside me, Dr. Clint Boone, Dr. Lenore Newsom, who's the chair of our informal conference, Dr. Brian Jolly, Dr. Rodney Richmond, and Dr. Lynn Fouché. On the other side, myself, and then Ms. Ashley Vales, who's our legal counsel and attorney. We're employees here in the Board of Pharmacy offices. We've got your application to be a pharmacy technician in the state of Arkansas. And you told us nothing would come back. We had a couple things come back that they're going to want to talk to you about. And at some point, they're going to come up with a decision of what they'd like to do with your application. Could be to approve it, could be to deny it, could be to table it for some period of time. We have no idea what they're going to say until they do.
Okay.
The good thing for you is since this is an informal conference, you could either agree or disagree with it. If you agree with it, we go forth with whatever it is they've asked us to do and do that. If you disagree, it's kind of your chance to either say, forget about this whole thing, I'm walking away from it, or you could request a hearing before the full board at a later date. Full board is these 5 members plus 3 more, hearing officer, court reporter, everybody gets sworn in, and is just a much more formal process similar to going to court.
Okay.
So I was asked, do you have any questions about how this works?
I guess no questions. Do I have, okay.
If you come up at some point that you've got a question about a procedure or something that's going on, by all means, ask us any question you got and we'll try to do our best to help answer it. The board members are just now seeing a copy of your application just like you've got it there. So they're looking at this. I'll let Ms. Vales give them a quick overview.
Okay. And Ms. Vale's my attorney, or?
She's my attorney.
She's your attorney. Okay.
Yes. Okay. All right.
We brought Mr. Machado in this afternoon for consideration. In his application, he didn't disclose any arrest or citations, but there was one arrest from January 16, 2024. It was a criminal mischief and burglary of a structure. Prosecution was deferred on the condition that he paid $200 in costs and $345.35 in restitution. And he paid that on February 3rd of this year.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Okay. Can you tell us in your own words what happened?
Okay. Yeah. So, I was out, I was seeing a person that I probably shouldn't have associated myself with at the time. We were walking around, this was Lake Worth, and drinking. And so I had been to the person's house. We hung out slightly. I helped him clean up his front porch. I was just helping a person that I didn't know and had just met that day. And then we went out, walked around the town. And it was as I was following him back to his place, he was directing me on where to go. I had hopped a fence, and that the police officers were just on the other side of the fence, and they arrested me. And I didn't know what was going on. I thought that there was a burglary happening that outside of what I was doing, so I was confused. And I thought that they needed to go get the burglar. I'm so sorry. I have a mint in my mouth. But yeah, I didn't know what was happening. I was unaware of why they were arresting me. I was very confused.
Did the officers
They said that they were
say
arresting
why
me
they were there?
for
How were they
burglary.
there?
They were on the other side of the fence. From my perspective, it was the other person that I was with that they were like trying to arrest or get. And I was just in association with him.
Okay, okay. That's kind of strange for them to be right there at that time.
They were, yeah.
I have a question, if I could.
Dude.
So you had to pay $345 in restitution. What was that for?
That was because I was told by my attorney that the fence was broken, and so
Okay.
the person, the owner of the property,
So did the person you get charged, that you were with, also get charged with
Yeah.
these? So you both got the same charges?
I don't know if he had the exact same charges. I was coming to Arkansas when I was fighting the case, or I didn't. But because I was out of state, I wasn't able to be in Florida to fight.
Okay, but $345
Was what I was told that I had to pay just to
to pay
be
for
able
the
to
fence.
get through well, I don't know what the 300, I know that the 200 was for the
Well,
fence.
it looks like the $200 was a fine by the judge, but restitution's paying somebody back for usually damaged property.
Okay.
So if it was the fence, that would make sense. That would answer my question if that's what you think it is.
Okay. What brings you to the world of pharmacy?
I'm looking to become certified as a technician, to be of more help. Right now, I'm a pharmacy cashier. I've been doing that for 2 months, and I'm not nearly as much of help as I should be to my pharmacy or pharmacist. Yeah.
And how long have you been in Arkansas?
About maybe a little over 2 years now.
Okay.
I was originally born in Springdale.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're currently working in a pharmacy?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you been there?
I think it's been about maybe a little over 2 months.
Okay.
Well, it'd be entering the structure with purpose to commit a crime. That paperwork doesn't really say. I don't have a police report. And then it was ultimately sort of not prosecuted because of the payments. So I don't have any more information. If Mr. Machado, if you have any more information, you can chime in, but that's really all I have on it.
Yeah, I would have thought, or I would have like done more, or just said like I didn't do anything, or tried to fight it if I still lived in Florida. But because I'm here, I was told by the attorney or the person I was working with that they didn't have much on.
So when you hopped the fence, where were you after you hopped the fence? Were you in somebody else's backyard, or where did you, I mean, I know you didn't know where you were going, but did you figure out what was going on after you hopped the fence?
Well, it must have been when I hopped the fence, I was off the property.
Okay.
Because that's where all of
You're
the
on
police
someone else's property?
led by this person. Yes.
Okay. And did he do anything after you hopped the fence?
We were arrested. Did he do anything?
Yeah, illegal or anything? Like, did you see him do something that would cause him to be arrested?
I didn't see him do anything. I didn't know. I'm really confused during the whole. No, I didn't see him do anything.
Okay. Had either of you been drinking at the time, or, okay. So maybe that contributed to the confusion a little bit?
Definitely.
Okay.
I was arrested. Yeah.
Why did you say?
I guess I misread the question. I didn't realize. I thought it was, maybe the question was, have you been charged? It sounds very clear when you read it. I
Go ahead.
have a learning disability. I misread things pretty often. That's not a. Right. I think I could compensate for it.
It came on.
I have a question for council.
Sure.
Would this have come before the board if he would have disclosed?
It probably would have because it's so recent. I mean, it was in the last year. And it's a felony, even though it wasn't prosecuted. It was only not prosecuted because it looks like you paid for the fence and the fine and then they dropped it.
Okay.
But yeah, due to the recentness of it, I think we probably would have brought it in anyway.
An impact. Okay. I would make a motion that we approve Mr. Machado's application.
Second.
I guess technically a grant a waiver, right? And approve.
Yes.
Okay.
Gotcha. Have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion on that motion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The motion passes. Then you're gonna get your license.
Appreciate you. Okay. Thank you.
Be careful going back home.
I appreciate you.
Hi, how are you?
We got action.
Maybe.
Miss Whaley is tab 16. How are you doing, Miss Whaley?
Hey, how are you?
Doing pretty good. It's getting later in the afternoon, but we're gonna make it.
Yes.
I'm John Kirtley. I'm the director of the Board of Pharmacy. I'm gonna tell you real quick kind of who you're speaking with today and kind of how this procedure goes. Myself and Ms. Bales on this side of the table, we're staff members here at the Board of Pharmacy that work here. She's our attorney here. On the other side, you've got 5 of our pharmacy board members that are decision makers here today about your pharmacy technician application. Got Dr. Clint Boone, Dr. Lenore Newsom, who's the chair of our informal conference, Dr. Brian Jolly, Dr. Rodney Richmond, and Dr. Lynn Fouché. In this, the board members are just now getting a copy of your application, which on here, it looks like you did tell us that something would come back on it. So thank you for letting us know that.
No problem.
Up front. That makes some things a little bit more straightforward for us. I'll have Ms. Bales give them an overview of what we found. They're going to talk to you for a little bit. And at some point, they're going to come up with some suggested decision. And it could be to approve your application, to deny your application, to offer you the chance to withdraw it instead of having a negative decision, to postpone decision. We don't know what they're going to come up with until they do.
Yes.
At which point, since this is called informal, you could agree or disagree with it. If you agree with it, we go forth with whatever they've asked us to do. If you disagree, it gives you the chance to kind of either say, man, forget this, walk away from it, or to request a formal hearing before the board at a future date. Formal hearing is these members plus 3 more, hearing officer, a court reporter. We swear everybody in, and it's just a much more formal procedure, kind of like you would see when you go to court.
Yes.
So I always ask, you have any questions about how this works?
No, sir.
If you change your mind and you've got a question about something during this, wave your hands, get our attention. We'll try to help answer any questions you got. Because I realize you're not sitting there all the time like we sit up here and do this a lot.
Yes. Okay.
That I'll turn over to Ms. Bales.
Okay.
We brought Miss Whaley in this afternoon. She did disclose an arrest or citation on her application. A couple of things came up. One from November 13, 2013. She was charged with domestic battery in the 3rd degree and disorderly conduct. She pled guilty and was sentenced to 10 days and $660 fine. On July 28th, 2016, she was arrested for domestic battery in the 2nd degree of felony, but then charges were not filed. Then on August 30th, 2016, she was arrested for aggravated assault on a family or household member, a D felony, with an enhancement for committing the offense in the presence of a child, criminal mischief, and D felony for damage of property over $1,000 and less than $5,000. Domestic battery 3rd class D felony was enhanced due to previous conviction for domestic battery within 5 years. She was convicted only of the felony aggravated assault charge on the family or household member, and the enhancements and other charges were null prost. She was sentenced to 5 years probation and fines and court costs. On May 16, 2019, a petition to revoke her probation was filed because she was arrested on the charge of hindering apprehension and not reporting to her probation officer. Records reflect the probation revocation charge was null prost and there was no disposition on the hindering apprehension charge. So that is her background.
Yes. All right, thank you. You want to tell me about these?
I was arrested. I had a situation with my stepdad at the time. It was my mom's ex-husband, and we didn't get along because when I was younger, he did some things to me and I ended up going in foster care. But at the time, I had went back to my mom's house, but I ran away from foster care because the foster home that I was in, I was having issues there. They wasn't feeding us and stuff. So I decided to go back to my mom's house, and my stepdad, he didn't want me there. So he decided to pick a fight with me. I was pregnant at the time. I was the one that called 911, but I ended up going to jail because it was 2 against 1, his son and him. So I just decided to go to jail because I told the cops to take me to jail because I felt safer there than to be there anyway. So that was just that. But we did get into it wasn't really physical. He did push me down and I hit him back. And then I went to the bathroom and locked the door and I called 911. When the cops got there, they really weren't trying to hear my side of the story. So I just decided for them to just take me to jail. So that was that. So I was still in foster care though. I was a little bit sad because DHS didn't come back and get me. I didn't hear from nobody, no family or nothing. So I was just stuck there.
That was was that 2013?
2019, correct?
2019?
2016?
16.
2016, yes.
But I have a question. So in this affidavit, it said you had a knife at one point and was waving the knife around and then grabbed it and hurt yourself. Or somebody hurt themselves with a knife. Was that your recollection?
No, that's not true. I'm a very honest person. I didn't have a knife in my hand because, like I said, I locked myself in the bathroom door. I wish y'all can be able to hear the 911 phone call because everything was said on that phone call. So, but no, I didn't have a knife. Absolutely not.
Okay. Well, that's just what's in the affidavit. What about that? How did you mess up probation?
I was in foster care at the time, so when I got out of jail, they placed me in Hot Springs. I didn't have nobody to take me, so I didn't have no car, I didn't have no driver license, so I was in foster care, so I didn't have no transportation to go see a probation officer.
And
or
what
to do-
happened to the hindering apprehension charge?
That was a situation with my kid's father. The police, they wanted to know where I was. They thought I knew where he was, and I didn't. So I turned myself in. I had to spend a night in jail that day. I don't know what exactly went on or whatever he had going on, but I was very honest with the detective. I told him that I didn't know where he was, and they released me the next morning. So that was a situation he has going on. So.
Okay. And on all these, you were charged as an adult.
Yes.
I don't have juvenile court records here. Okay. That's all the questions I have.
Yes, ma'am.
Say it was one resulted in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
What-
What year? 2016. I have it wrong on my summary, but the felony information is in your packet. It's case number CR 2016-431-4. Yeah, that's my mistake.
Okay, so what brings you to the world of pharmacy?
About 2 years ago, my friend, she did pharmacy. She was talking to me about it, and I wasn't interested then. But like a year ago, about a year and a half ago, I seen it on Facebook. I was like, you know what? Let me try this. So I decided to go to school for it at UMA, and I've been in there ever since. I made all A's and 1B. I'm already finished with school. I just been waiting on this board meeting, so I'm really interested in this. And if I was to like get my pharmacy technician license, I want to continue school and become a nuclear pharmacist. So that's something I want to do.
So what are you currently doing for work?
I do volunteer at the church, and then I work at Chipotle, and I also work in the cafeteria at this nursing home place.
What school did you say you went to?
UMA, Ultimate Medical
Oh, yeah.
Academy.
Ultimate Medical
Online.
Academy. Okay.
It's a really good school. So yeah, I like it.
Okay, but so there was something that happened in August of this year?
Of this year?
Mm-mm.
Am I looking at that
No,
wrong?
it's 2016.
Oh, okay.
I wrote it down. It's 2016.
Anything else you want to tell us? Okay.
Just here to answer y'all questions.
Just have to make a motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Motion passes.
Good luck.
Thank you so much. God bless y'all.
Thank
Same to you.
Told us it was coming. Told us it might have been a decade. Means not a drug felony. When you explain to students that don't understand it, that like nuclear pharmacy is midnight to 5 a.m. and then you clean up. Like they're going, wait, what? So it's a graveyard thing? I was like, no, you're getting everything ready for the next day for dosimeter, time-based dosing and everything else. I think there's a lot available.
Hello.
Who did we get, Miss Bales? Tab 19. Here we go. How you doing, Miss Jones?
I don't know. Nervous.
Oh, nervous. I was afraid I just called you by the wrong name for a minute. So, Ms. Jones, I'm John Kirtley. I'm the director of the pharmacy board. On this side of the table, Ms. Bales and I, we're full-time employees here in the office. She's actually our attorney and legal counsel. I'm going to tell you kind of who you're talking to and how this kind of works. On the other side of the table, we got 5 of our pharmacy board members, Dr. Clint Boone, Dr. Lenore Newsom, who's the chair of our informal conference, Dr. Brian Jolly, Dr. Rodney Richmond, Dr. Lynn Fouché, and they're all kind of the decision makers here today on your application. They're just now looking at a copy of your application on their little pads, just like I am. And here in a moment, I'll turn to Ms. Vales. She'll give them an overview of what was in your application. I see that you told us nothing was going to come back, but then we found some stuff. So they're going to want to talk to you about that. And at some point, they're going to come up with a decision of what they wanted to do with your application. Whatever they come up with, you could either agree or disagree with. During that, if you decide that you agree with it, we go forth with whatever they are telling us to do. If you disagree, you kind of have a choice to say, forget this, walk away from pharmacy, or you would have the choice to say, I'd like a hearing before the full board, a formal hearing at a later date. It's these 5 members, 3 more, court reporter, a hearing officer, everybody gets sworn in, and it's just a lot more formal, kind of like if you go to court versus us having a conversation back and forth. And I apologize. It wasn't that you necessarily had a background check. It was that I think they had you working as a tech before you were a tech in this specific instance. With that, do you have any questions about how this works?
Not really. I want to actually say I apologize because I did put that I worked as a tech in 2 different places before my license actually expired, but one of them was not during that time, like after it expired.
So before you had let it expire, and we'll get to that in just a minute, probably when they want to talk to you. But I'll let Ms. Bales give a quick overview while we're here. At any point in this, if you need to ask us a question, you wave your hands, get my attention. We'll help answer any questions that you got. Okay. Ms. Bales?
So Ms. Jones, well, I'll back up. This is a little bit different. This is a reinstatement application. And upon inspection of the pharmacy, Dr. Holland discovered that Ms. Jones was working without a valid pharmacy technician registration. During the inspection, Dr. Holland observed Ms. Jones filling prescriptions and performing technician duties. He notified the pharmacist in charge that she did not have a license. And it was only after that that Ms. Jones submitted an application for reinstatement. And she submitted it in August of 2025, well after any grace period, well after the April deadline for those. So she had been working at Express RX without a license for several months.
Okay, how long have you been working at Express RX?
I was working there for about 6 weeks.
And no one mentioned to you that you needed a license?
So I'm sorry, go ahead. I had my license and I didn't renew them in time enough because I really thought that I had until the end of this year to renew them. But once they asked me to present my license because I got hired through a tech
agency.
Thank you. And so, excuse me, I couldn't locate. I moved. It was a whole lot of stuff going on as to why I even put down the other job, like the time frame. But once he asked me to present my license, and I'm like, okay, I need to find them. And then we looked online, and I'm like, my license are expired. So I then came to get it reinstated.
Can somebody give me a chronology? So when she got licensed, when her license was due, when this was discovered by Dr. Holland, and then the affidavit, kind of put all that on a continuum.
Her original license date was April 25th, 2008. And she let it expire. She should have renewed it at the end of last year, but she had until April to get it before she was in trouble for that.
And part of that, she had continuously renewed.
Yes. And so after April, she was no longer a licensed pharmacy technician. And then Dr. Holland, I don't have the date of the inspection of Express Scripts or
Express
RX.
I can pull it if you want that.
But it was after that. So Dr. Holland went to inspect. He pulled some records. A couple of days later, he went back with the records and told the pharmacist in charge that she didn't have her license. And then I'm assuming the pharmacist in charge talked to her. I think the pharmacist in charge said it was an issue with corporate should have confirmed it. He wasn't aware that she didn't have her license, but she had been working several months without it since April or whatever the hire date was for Express RX. But she was working and filling prescriptions, and Dr. Holland observed that on the inspection.
Okay, so your license expired December 31st of last year, 2020.
Yes, sir.
When hired by Express RX?
It was July. Yes, sir.
This year.
Yes, sir.
Had you worked anywhere between?
I was in hospitality. I wasn't working in a pharmacy then.
So you weren't working in a pharmacy from January 1st until you were hired by Express RX in July?
Correct.
But then what about the other one you put on your care?
Farm care, I stopped working there December 16th of 24.
Okay.
So if you had renewed your license
Yes, sir.
how did it come to slip your mind, or how did you end up coming back to pharmacy?
Because I ended up working in hospitality for a year, and like I say, a lot of stuff happened. I had death in the family. I was overwhelmed, sick children, but I mean, I really like being a pharmacy tech. So once I was hired for the position, I was there. Like I didn't even think to check my nothing. Like I was just like, I guess I'm good. But once I realized they were expired, I literally came up here like the next day.
Anyone else have any questions? Ms. Jones?
I do have a question. Did you cease working as a pharmacy technician once this was recognized?
Yes, sir.
And are you still working at Express RX on Cantrell and another?
No, sir.
Are you working at any pharmacy?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
In general, there's a consent agreement offered to a pharmacy that does this, where there's I think it's a non-disciplinary penalty for the PIC and the pharmacy itself. And they're both commemorated. And years past, the board at times put a technician under probation for a period of time, or generally haven't fined the technician, but it's frankly been a while since we've had a technician that had been a tech and had let it lapse that we've caught working. And I'm trying to find, it looks like their inspection, I'd have to get to Dr. Holland to see because it hasn't been filed in the system yet, I think because of the case identified through it.
But it clearly was after July.
Yes, I think she came in the next
Day.
week after
think it
Dr.
was-
Holland was in the
yeah.
pharmacy.
It was the middle of August.
Yeah, so it was August, late August, August 29th is when she submitted the application. And I think it was within a couple of days or at the latest the next week.
It's one of those things, when we offer like the consent order for that, for the store and the PIC, if they don't want to enter into that consent order, we would notice them up and bring them in for the violation. I mean, it's most pharmacies, you have to have policy to ensure the people you're letting behind the counter have a permit. It appears they just didn't do it. She'd had one before and I think they took it on faith that she still had one and it had technically expired.
The will of the board.
I would be willing to make a motion to approve. I do think, while the employer has a responsibility, Ms. Jones also had a responsibility to ensure her registration was active. So I'm going to recommend that we impose, and this would be non-disciplinary, but we impose a $250 investigative cost, and that would not be due until the end of the board's fiscal year, which I believe is in June. So I'm willing
So we'd say like June 15th. So we had time to.
June 15th to give her 6 months to do that, but I'd be willing to approve the permit with that as a stipulation.
I'd second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye. Any nays? Motion passes.
And that's approved now. Okay. So Ms. Jones, to help explain a little background on this, years ago, if this would have happened, they would have put you on a disciplinary probation, which would mean that you would have more trouble finding another job in pharmacy, or that it would be marked forevermore that you had disciplinary action. What they're saying instead was, although you had responsibility in this, they also had responsibility not to put you to work. But because we had from an inspection to build a case and come through all this today, they're basically asking you to pay the investigative cost of that, but not acting as if it was disciplinary action. So if someone else asks you, have you been disciplined? You could say no. They say, well, you had to pay a penalty. It's like, well, I had to pay, it's kind of like a court cost type deal. I did pay a penalty, but I was not disciplined. And they're going to go ahead and give you your tech permit back in full today. Now, don't remember, it expires next year though. This is way more of a headache than just that
I'm sorry.
renewable. I
I do
understand.
apologize, but thank you guys so much.
Yep.
Good luck.
I figured they'd still have you over there running people out from trying to park to get pizza.
No, sir, no.
That was bad as you thought.
It was.
Thank you, Ms. Jones.
I just need to call the clock.
You gotta go, man. I've been thinking all day, I was gonna call my house on something. I was like, you need to go. Here we go, tab 17. How are you doing, Mr. Santiago?
Pretty good in yourself.
Doing pretty well. It's the afternoon, but we're making it.
There you go. Almost the end of the day.
Yeah. I'm John Curley. I'm Director of the Board of Pharmacy. I'm going to tell you kind of who you're speaking with this afternoon and a couple things about our procedure. On this side of the table, myself and Miss Bales, we're both employees here at the Board of Pharmacy. She's our legal counsel and attorney. On the other side, we got four right now of our pharmacy board members. Dr. Clint Boone, Dr. Lenore Newsom, who's the chair of our informal conference, Dr. Brian Jolly, and Dr. Rodney Richmond. Here in a moment, I'll turn it over to Ms. Bales to give us an overview of what we found in your application. On your application, told us nothing was going to come back, but then we found something that they'll want to talk to you about. At some point during the conversation, they're going to decide what they want to do with your application. They could vote to approve it, deny it, reconsider at some point, ask if you want to withdraw it instead of a disciplinary action. Whatever they come up with, you can either agree or disagree with. If you agree with it, we go forth with whatever they've asked us to do. If you disagree, it's kind of your shot to say, man, forget this and walk away, or to request a formal hearing before the board at a future date. Formal hearing is these four members plus the other four, hearing officer sitting up here, a court reporter. We swear everybody in. It's just a more formal appearance than us talking back and forth across the table like today.
Okay.
So I always asked, do you have any questions about how this works?
No, sir.
If you change your mind and there's something you want to ask for clarification on, or you've got a question during it, wave your hands, get our attention. We'll try our best to help answer any questions you have.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Fales?
Mr. Santiago is here for consideration. He did not disclose any arrest, but he was arrested on December 15, 2018 in Laredo, Texas for possession of marijuana less than 2 ounces, but the charges were not prosecuted due to, I believe, statute of limitations. But again, he didn't disclose the arrest, which brings him here today.
Hi, you want to tell us about that arrest?
Yes, ma'am. It was just one of those nights where me and my friends were hanging out. I made a bad decision that night. My mom had just gotten cancer, and I had just moved to Austin and got moved back. I had just lost my dad a few years prior to that, so I was just going through a very tough time. I decided to do something I shouldn't have, and from there on, I decided to make better choices in my life. That's pretty much it.
I bet you did step the close to the officer that you were in possession.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, and did it bother anybody else that was in the car since you went ahead and admitted that was yours?
No, ma'am. I took all responsibility for it.
Okay, great. And you haven't had anything criminal
No,
since
ma'am.
then?
Nope.
Okay.
I moved out of Texas to Arkansas to change my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Last time you used marijuana?
I would say about 3 years now. Mhm. I had one at some point here in the state of Arkansas. Yep. I'm a type 1 diabetic, so when I first got here, I did use it for a little bit, but then decided to pursue different career options.
Cancel it or did it?
I never renewed it.
So what brings you to pharmacy?
At first I wanted to be a nurse, but then I became a type 1 diabetic, and I started to really get into studying about that, and I'm wanting to become a pharmacist to specialize in a certain area of that. I also want to go into maybe nuclear, try to do procedures with like cancer and stuff like that as well.
Ms. Fales, it's been about 6 years ago. Would this have been waivable, approvable by board if he would have marked yes?
We would still be concerned about marijuana use since it's a marijuana charge.
Yeah, if it's a drug charge, you guys generally still want to see it.
Thank you.
I did take a drug test for my school on Friday as well.
If it was an alcohol related offense first time, that's something we can generally sign off on. If it's a multiple alcohol related offense or a drug offense, you guys have directed us to bring them.
Thank you.
Any further questions of this gentleman?
Well, I'm going to ask him. So on your application, it asked you if you'd ever been arrested, cited for, or convicted.
It was just something I honestly forgot about. It was just so long ago that I sort of left that in my past and I honestly just forgot about it.
Okay.
I've gone through many backgrounds before and it has just never popped up until right now. So it was just one of those things.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I'll make a motion that if there's no other discussion, I'll make a motion to approve Mr. Santiago's permit.
Second.
You have a motion and a second on the floor. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passes.
Thank you so
You'll get
much.
your license.
Y'all have a great day.
Good luck.
Good luck.
I don't think that guy made it by 2:30, did he? Or is he out there? Oh, okay. Yeah. I believe it's Smith. At 15.
How you doing? My mom
She can sit back there, or she can sit right with you. That's up to
came
her.
with me on the journey from Arkansas, Springdale.
Yeah. So, Mr. Smith, I'm John Kirtley. I'm the director of the pharmacy board. I'm going to tell you kind of who you're speaking with this afternoon, a couple of things about this procedure. On this side of the table, we are staff members here at the board office. Myself, Ms. Ashley Bell, she's my attorney and our legal counsel. In a moment, I'll turn it over to her to give the board members an overview of kind of what's in your application before they have a discussion with you about it.
Okay.
On the other side of the table, these are 5 of our pharmacy board members and decision makers for your application. We've got Dr. Clint Boone, Dr. Lenore Newsom, who's the chair of our informal conference, Dr. Brian Jolly, Dr. Rodney Richmond, and Dr. Lynn Fouché.
Nice to meet you.
Since they are just now seeing your application, the same application that you would have a copy of as well. Once Ms. Bells gives them a quick overview, they'll have a discussion with you about it. And at some point, they're going to come up with some decision, what they want to do. Since it's an informal conference, we really have no idea what they're going to say, but since it's informal, you could agree or disagree with whatever decision they make. They could make a motion to approve it, deny it, say they'll reconsider it in some amount of time, give you the opportunity to withdraw it, and rather than having a denial or negative decision on it. Whatever they come up with, since you can agree or disagree. If you agree, we go forth with whatever they've asked us to do. If you disagree with it, it's kind of your chance to either say, you know what, kind of forget this, walk away from it, or to request a formal hearing before the full board at a later date. The full board is these members plus 3 more. We'd have a court reporter and a hearing officer, and we swear everybody in, and it's just procedurally more formal, kind of like going to court. So I always ask, do you have any questions about how this works?
No, sir.
Okay, if you change your mind, if you need to ask us for clarification on something during this, by all means, wave your hands, get our attention, and we'll do our best to help answer any questions you got. I realize you've never sat in that chair, and we do this kind of stuff all the time. Okay, that'll turn to Ms. Bales.
Thank you.
We have brought Mr. Smith in for consideration this afternoon. He did disclose there would be some arrest or citations on his application. There are a couple of things that have come up. The first one was on arrest on April 9th, 2014. He was charged with possession of a controlled substance, Schedule 1 or 2 felony. He had possession of 3 pills, hydrocodone pills without a prescription. The case was transferred to drug court pre-adjudication. He completed the drug court program on June 13th, 2016. And once he completed that, they dismissed the case. Then on December 5th, 2023, 2023, he was arrested for domestic assault. According to the information, he placed a victim in apprehension of physical injury. On June 6, 2024, it was dismissed by the state after completion of a diversion program on that charge. Then on January 3rd, 2025, he was cited for inadequate insurance during an accident and careless or prohibitive driving, and he's making payments on those. And there's a letter in his packet from a counselor signed on June 5th that he is participating in a program, or was at that time, called Celebrate Recovery. And that is, I think he's working at Walmart too, is that right?
Yeah, currently working at Walmart Pharmacy, but I'm not allowed in pharmacy at the moment. CVS Pharmacy, I worked there from October 13 or 2nd till November 28th was my last day.
As a clerk, or?
I actually worked at the register in the pharmacy,
Yeah.
but I'm still planning on working there part-time in the store, just with the warehouse and stuff.
Okay.
If this works out.
I talked to his pick at Walmart Friday.
All right. You want to bring us up to date on what happened?
Where would you like me to start? Just on the first one?
The first one down.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so I got the paperwork pulled up. So that was, how many years ago? That was nearly 11 years ago. Can't sure how old I was at this time. I think I was 23 or 22. My friend and I, he was in my car with me in the passenger side. I was on Dixon Street in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and I ended up turning on a one-way. And as I proceeded to turn on the one-way, I don't know if you've been to Dixon Street, but there's a lot of it's hard to see signs there, especially at night. And it's just a lot of one-ways down there, kind of like downtown Little Rock. I proceeded to turn on the one-way. My friend and I had the hydrocodones in my car. Policeman just proceeded to search my vehicle. I didn't give him a reason. I wasn't under the influence or anything. I didn't really give him a reason to search my car. But he ended up finding the pills in my car. I had to take ownership of it because I was driving. And so after that, I was detained, and then I, as a program to quash or dismiss the case, I succeeded to take part in a drug court program in Washington County, Arkansas. I finished. During that time, I was also going to like AA meetings as part of the program. I was drug tested like every single week. I mean, it was pretty hardcore just for that amount of medication I was driving with. But I finished it. But that's still a pretty hardcore charge having your record. So I was willing to do that just so I could have a future I wanted. So that was that. I don't have the exact day when I finished drug court. I just know I had no issues finishing. I did everything right. The judge was happy with me and she dismissed it. So I haven't really thought about that in a long time. To be honest, I only thought about it whenever I got this background check done. I've kind of put this part of my life behind me. Not the same person I was that back then. I mean, I have a child now and responsibilities. I wouldn't even have access or rights to my child if I had a drug record. So that's that. So that happened. And then December 2023, I was living with a girlfriend at the time, and she was a hardcore alcoholic. So she was not working, constantly drinking every day. I was working for a company called Stryker Orthopedics. I was an orthopedic sales consultant for them. I was in surgery every day, consulting for our Stryker hip and knee replacement products. So I was in surgery constantly every single day. But my girlfriend at the time was a hardcore alcoholic who lived with me. And there was an instance where she was super drunk and inebriated, and we kind of got in an argument about her working and how I'm working and she's not paying bills. I'm the one paying bills. And I ended up falling asleep, but during our argument, she reported to the police that she was scared. I didn't put my hands on her. I never put my hands on a woman. I grew up with my mother and my mom's mother together. So I was raised with women all my life. Totally respect and love women. And the cops, anyways, they didn't really take my story. They just kind of took her side of the story and proceeded to incarcerate me. I went and spent a jail one night in jail, and they ended up saying that I had an attempt to domestic violence. That's what they called it at first. They didn't even call it attempted domestic assault, attempted domestic harassment, because her and I got in an argument. So there really wasn't much I can do about that. I had to go through the proceedings, getting that off my record and dismissed, which I did. I paid for an attorney, cost me $2,500. I moved away from that person. Since then, I have never spoken to her since that moment. She's out of my life completely. I have no contact with this person. I did that to protect my family, protect myself, protect my son's well-being, protect me and my son's future together. I wouldn't have access to my son if I had a domestic violence incident on my record. So I got that dismissed. I was in Lee Summit, Missouri. I had to drive 3 hours 4 times just to go to court and speak with a judge to have it dismissed. In the end, it was dismissed. So I was going to counseling at this time. Mainly it was because I wanted to go on my own to deal with situations out of my control, which my son's situation. We're going through a custody case. You know, it creates a lot of tense and, angry situation in yourself when you're dealing with that, when things are outside your control. So I proceeded to have myself in therapy. I also used that as an incentive to tell the judge, hey, like, I don't have angry issues. Look, I've been going to therapy. Don't have a problem with, So that happened. So that got cleared. And then January 2025, yes, I did get pulled over because I didn't have insurance at that time. I was unemployed. Therefore, I didn't have even access to Medicaid at this time, with health insurance, and nor did I have a way to pay for car insurance. I got in a car accident, and the person ended up not even pressing charges on me. It wasn't really that big of an accident or that major of an accident. My car had more damage than his car. He had a truck. I didn't have State Farm insurance at the time, so I got pulled over for that. I'm still making payments on that fine currently. I have no issues on my record. I have no driving record, no traffic violations, I don't even think. But I just didn't have insurance at the time. I currently have State Farm insurance and hold that in Springdale.
Okay. And how much longer do you have on your payment program?
For the ticket? I mean, I could pay it off all if I wanted to, but they're giving me until I can pay it off, basically a time frame. I think it's only $460 something more dollars. I wish I could pay it off. I probably could pay it off right now, but I'm paying a hefty amount of child support every single month. To be exact, it's $1,475 a month. So it kind of makes it hard to pay for everything I want to right now. But they currently are under review and modification with Washington County Child Support Enforcement. I've been working with them.
And you currently have a job?
I currently, I got a job offer from Walmart Pharmacy. Rob, the pharmacy manager there, he hired me. I did the background check. I did everything I had to do for onboarding. I'm currently doing my modules right now on the computer, just learning everything from the computer system about a pharmacy technician, and then the responsibilities and all that. So, like I said, I also worked at CVS, but a coworker that worked at Walmart Pharmacy referred me to Rob at Walmart. I've heard great things about Walmart and the structure and the operation system there, so I wanted to get on board with that. And I'm trying to finish physical therapy assistant school right now. I'm currently enrolled at Northwest Arkansas Community College, and I'm trying to do the steps to have a good resume once I interview for a physical therapy assistant job, hopefully. That's why I'm doing this.
Thank you.
So do you know what Schedule 1 substance was involved?
It was oxycodone.
That's good.
Yeah, it's Schedule 1 or 2, the way they charged it. That's just the way it falls under the statute on criminal. It can be the same. So the possession is the same sentence of range. So you can be charged 1 or 2. So that's usually what they put on the felony informations. But this case, it was oxycodone. And I think what Dr. McCready and I were concerned about is we've had these drug court cases before and whether or not the pharmacy needs to have a waiver. And it's fallen, I think, different ways. So that was a concern that we had as a staff because of that possession charge.
One question I had, was
The last time we had one, we did ask the pharmacy to pursue a waiver. And because the person completed drug court, she got it and we did issue her license, but we didn't issue it until after they had determined the status of the waiver.
This one is different. If you look, I can find, I'm sorry, the page on it because
It's pre-adjudication.
yeah, and they did not. So I've done this a long time at this point. Some drug courts enter the guilty plea and then try to erase it later. This one in like Washington County, the way they say is with the defendant's consent and without entering a judgment of guilt. So they did not enter a judgment of guilt. So the way the interpretations I've always been told is because they did not enter a judgment of guilt, what they are sealing at that point is the fact that they basically held the whole thing without ever having a finding of guilt or a plea of guilt by deferring it into the program. So you can still vote in elections. Like you didn't lose your voting rights.
I mean, I can have a firearm if I wanted to.
Because he was charged, but since he never even had to enter a guilty plea or anything else, he should not be a waiver person.
They're going to have to be verified if we grant the.
I mean, the way I read this is he never got a felony conviction.
I thought it was
Yeah, I don't think it
Only
should be a
conviction.
conviction. It shows up for us because we're a health licensing agency, but
We can see the charge, even though it was sealed as a health license board, but because their background check did not show a conviction either.
I mean, it showed
Showed a
something.
charge.
Yeah, but it didn't show a conviction, no.
Okay. Like if DEA came out and said, oh no, we think this requires a waiver, I'd be going, no, we're going to have to push this further up the chain because in this instance, they did not enter a finding of guilt or a guilty plea versus if he had entered in a guilty plea and they still held it, like DEA would have an argument that he pled guilty or pleaded guilty and just didn't carry through with it.
Yeah, and we were also concerned with the outstanding payments that needed to be made. And of course, had questions about that program he was in, Celebrate Recovery. So for those reasons, we wanted to bring it for the board to decide.
Well, and I agree, the payment issue is the only other outstanding thing that would kind of stand in the way, but I do want to comment, Mr. Smith, even though most of these things are that are fairly recent or non-drug related, the drug related incident was, as you've noted, 11 years ago, but you seem to be fairly dismissive of the importance of the fact that it was oxycodone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you were dismissive to say, well, I don't know why they was made such a big deal or how you said it. There's only three tablets or capsules. There are a multitude of laws that the law enforcement, the Drug Enforcement Administration, pharmacists have a responsibility to maintain control of these drugs. The accountability that we have is enormous. And you shouldn't have even had one, less well three. You didn't have a right to that drug.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you were dismissive, I'm not much appreciative of that tone.
You know, I don't know if I came off that way. I understand the gravity of a felony. I didn't mean to dismiss the incident of being pulled over going on a one way. Like if my attitude came off that way, I apologize. But no, I realized the gravity of having a controlled substance violation on your record as a felony. Yeah, I totally understand that. I understand that situation was not one that I should have been in. Like I meant to say, it's happened so long, over a decade, that I haven't really pushed the thought to my mind until current day. That alone had to remind me of the gravity of the extreme of that situation, because I've done so many things in 11 years just to better myself, one, two, and then I've had so many just experiences in life since this moment. But I apologize. I understand that was, an extreme situation. I didn't mean to sound dismissive. I
Well,
think,
can I add for the record? I mean, we talked about this last week, and I also picked up on that. He was sort of offended that he had to come and answer to this. And so I also picked up on that dismissiveness too, Dr. Richmond.
I mean, kind of throughout his entire telling of the story, he was somewhat offended at some level about most everything that he had to say. So whether or not you get a permit today, I just wanted to make sure that you heard from somebody that even though this was 11 years ago, and even if you have never been involved in anything related to that or in any similar situation, that someone who has access to a Schedule II drug, and the only difference between a Schedule I and Schedule II is that a Schedule II drug has a medical use. Their addictiveness potential is exactly the same in the eyes of the DEA. So this is very important. And it is these are the kind of drugs that you would be handling and have access to on a regular basis by working in a pharmacy. And you can't have a dismissive attitude toward the importance of those drugs.
yes, sir.
I wanted to ask about your Celebrate Recovery. I know a little bit about that program, but my understanding is that there are a lot of folks that are in that program that have had addictive issues in the past. Is that the reason that you're in that program?
No, I went for, like I said, I was dealing with a custody case issue. I was having some trouble with just kind of like anger issues and stuff, and not lashing out at people, but just in my own head about it. And I went to Fellowship Church in Rogers, and they have a Celebrate Recovery program they offer every Friday. And people don't just go there just to talk about addiction. They talk about, like their sexual addiction. They talk about like their anger issues. They talk about multiple things, perversions they have, like other than just addiction,
Okay.
But I went just because it was a program to do on a Friday night. I tried to like do something on a positive note that night or on Friday nights during that time. And I went to Celebrate Recovery. I also went to Fellowship Baptist on Sundays, but I don't go there anymore. I haven't gone in a long time.
Okay. Well, I just needed to clarify that because I just want to make sure that you're not going because of some issue with alcohol or drugs.
No, sir.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Not used drugs since then.
No, sir. No.
How about marijuana?
No, I don't smoke marijuana. No.
He was forthcoming on his application, right?
Yeah, he disclosed, yes.
Okay.
I think part of the frustration some people have is they're told from a court side, yeah, if you go through this, no one can ever see it or anything else. And they forget the caveat of, well, if you get pulled over, they can see it. And if you apply for a healthcare job, they can see it. And if you apply for a job with a law enforcement agency, they can see it. And they forget the exception list. So we get a lot of people that are given, unfortunately, incomplete advice. I'm not going to say poor advice, but incomplete advice about what this means. And they're like, wait a minute, I've been told this, this, and this. And I'm like, well, they forgot to give you the unabridged version.
Ms. Phil, who are the outstanding payments on that insurance issue? Who are those that's being paid to?
Let me look.
Washington County? Yeah, Washington
Yeah,
County District Court.
Yeah, to the court. It's that last docket entry.
Yeah, next to last page.
And that was 400 and some that still do.
Yes, according to what we have here.
Yeah, I just started full time here, and hopefully this works. Just start full time with Walmart Pharmacy, and I've been working at CVS And like I said, there was nothing I could do about child support enforcement because they ended up garnishing my wages. So I had no say in that. So I had to get checks every other 2 weeks that were diminished by, I don't know, 65% every time. So I've been trying to really financially get on track here and organized. I haven't forgot about that insurance issue with Washington County.
Yeah, one thing I will tell you is periodically, in addition to garnishing wages, if you have any sort of professional registration, they'll take the step to, we get a letter that says deactivate so-and-so's registration. Like we have no choice. There's no hearing. It just happens.
Will somebody pay more?
I have heard that argument before, but if you get far enough in arrears on your child support, I mean, we've had it with pharmacy techs and pharmacists of their permit is deactivated as of this date. And then if they go get square with child support enforcement, we get another thing. It's like, oh, by the way, you can turn it back on now. We've got a plan with them.
That's any license, not just us.
That's why you have to have a social security number for any type of individual registration in the state of Arkansas is for child support enforcement.
And I've been in full communication transparently with them. Like I said, I have a good relationship with them. Actually, I don't think I said that, but I did work to get a good relationship with them, and that took a long time and some work as well. I went up there and gave them all the information up to date on my child's current education, which was not updated in the system, reflected to say that he's not in daycare anymore. So therefore, a child expense goes down on the year for him automatically. Also that I'm be paying health insurance for him, hopefully with a good job Walmart pharmacy. That will also deduct, insurance payments on as well. So I'm not in any really disciplinary action with child support at all. I'm in full communication with them. They know what's going on.
I don't know if you noticed, but like just about everything under us in this building, like it's all child support enforcement for the state.
Yeah,
so it's interesting neighbors.
Are you behind on the Washington County payments? Or are you current?
Are you talking about the Washington County child support?
No, the fine for the ticket for
the ticket. Yeah. I mean, I can pay it I get paid this week. So,
but are you behind in your payments? You said they let you pay it out.
Yes. Yeah. They're letting me pay it out.
Okay. So usually you have to pay every month.
Yes.
Have you been paying it every month?
I've paid, starting last month, I paid $25 a month. They said I could pay it in full anytime I want to. I'm planning on getting it done by the end of the year.
She's asking, you're not behind on it though.
No,
You're
not behind.
compliant with the plan.
Yes.
You got. Okay.
Sorry.
Any other discussion? May I entertain a motion, please?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the licensure.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
Well, generally, when there's a case that's got outstanding fines or whatever that have to be paid, that we would require that. So I would agree in general with that, except that assuming that this balance has been paid.
Dr. Fouché, would you like to amend your motion to include that stipulation?
Yes, please.
So, what that would be is basically it's approved as soon as we are shown proof that he's paid that penalty in full, we can immediately release his permit.
It's not out. I don't think it's outstanding though. They're still letting me pay it.
What they're saying is I've been here like a long time, like over 20 years. In general, because there's still pending fees, they generally ask that those be completed so that it doesn't catch a loop that if you miss a payment, then you get a different penalty that's a crime that kicks back to them and asks them to pull it away from you.
Okay.
So basically what they're saying is as soon as you show us that it's paid in full, we'll give you the permit like that day.
Okay. Thank you.
If they vote for that.
Okay. Any other discussion? And on the second, is the second amended also?
Yes.
Okay. If no further discussion, all in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Motion passes. So, do you understand what has to be done?
Yes, I'll go pay it this week.
So get a receipt from them for paid in full. As soon as you, like, you can scan that, email it to us. As soon as you do, we will activate your permit and get it sent to you.
I could probably call them right now and just pay it over the phone.
You had to get a receipt.
Just get a receipt.
I don't know that we can do it today, but if you send that to us tomorrow, we can get it tomorrow. So we're in this for the rest of the day.
Okay. I'll get it.
But it'll
to
be
you.
quick, man.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you very much for you guys' time. I'll get it to
For
you.
coming in.
Good luck.
Thank you. Yeah, y'all too. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thanks for
Nice to meet you
bringing
guys.
us down or
Thank you.
coming down with him. Okay.
The surgery room on implants, that's a good job. Like,
Oh, one more camera?
No.
Go. Okay.
yeah. I will say, like, having gone to fellowship for many years, whatever your hang up is, for drugs and alcohol issues. It could have been all that. All right, tab 20. How you doing this afternoon, Mr. Porter?
Fine, how are y'all doing?
Doing pretty well. We're almost to the end of the day. I'm John Kirtley. I'm the director of the Board of Pharmacy, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about kind of who you're speaking with this afternoon and how this procedure works. Okay. On this side of the table, we are board staff members here in the office. Myself, Ms. Vales is my legal counsel and attorney. On the other side, we have 5 of our board members, which are decision makers about your application today. We've got Dr. Clint Boone, Dr. Lenore Newsom, who's the chair of our informal committee, Dr. Brian Jolly, Dr. Rodney Richmond, and Dr. Lynn Fouché. On your application, they are just now getting a copy of it themselves. You told us nothing was going to come back, but we found some ancient history that they're going to talk to you about in a moment. What will happen is I'll turn to Ms. Vale. She'll give them an overview of what we found in the application process, and then the board members will want to talk to you about it. We may have some staff questions as well. At some point, they're going to have a suggestion for what they would like to do with your application. Could be approve it, could be deny it, could be to reconsider it sometime later, could be we don't know. Whatever they come up with, since it's an informal conference, you could agree or disagree with. If you agree with it, we go forth with whatever they've asked us to do. If you disagree, it's kind of your choice to either say, man, forget this thing and walk away, or to request a formal hearing as an appeal before the full board at a later date. Full board is all 8 members of the board, these 5 plus 3 more, a court reporter, a hearing officer. We swear everybody in and give testimony one at a time. It's just a more formal meeting, much like going to court. So I always ask, do you have any questions about how this works? No. I realize you've never sat in that chair, so if you get a question that pops in your head at some point during this, wave your hands, get our attention. We'll try to do our best to help answer any questions you got. Okay. Ms. Bales?
We brought Mr. Recorder in for consideration. He didn't disclose anything would come up on his background, but a couple of things did. On October 15th, 1993, he was charged with indecent exposure, a misdemeanor, and received probation for that offense. May 3rd, 1993, he was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon. The disposition is unknown. No court documents were submitted, but he did address it in his statement. And then he is in your packet, he had entered an agreed order with the Texas Board of Pharmacy in August of 2004. In that it was alleged that he provided false information to the Texas Board in his application for pharmacy technician registration. He was given his registration, but he was suspended for 2 weeks from working in a pharmacy. And as part of that order, he didn't admit or deny those allegations as part of the agreed order. And a copy of that is in your packet.
How are you doing today?
Fine, how are you?
Good.
Long trip.
Yes. You want to tell us in your own words what happened?
To be honest with you,
Yes, sir.
I don't remember. So I have an illness where I take medication and it has affected some of my cognitive abilities. So I have some nerve damage. So those particular instances, honestly, I remember very little about them. They were so long ago. They were 30-something years ago. I honestly don't remember a whole lot about them. I do remember being arrested for the indecent exposure. I stopped on the side of the road and urinated, and a cop caught me. Beyond that particular incident, I remember nothing. Nothing about the court, nothing about the hearing, nothing about attorney. I don't remember any of it. Honestly, I don't. If I did, I would tell you. But, and then the other charge was a gentleman that I was a partner with, and he falsified that I attacked him, and I did not. That's why there's no disposition or anything on it. That's the only thing I remember about that. And I was with that gentleman for 9 years, and we parted ways, and I've never seen the gentleman since. Honestly, I don't remember much about them, to tell you the truth. 30-something years ago, and the HIV med I took really did cause nerve damage. I have neuropathy in my hands and my feet, and some issues with migraines as well. So I just don't remember the specifics of anything other than those two things that I told you. I don't remember, honestly.
All right. So you're currently a pharmacy technician in the state of Texas?
With the federal government. I work for the VA.
Okay, but
yeah, I am a pharmacy technician. I still have my pharmacy license for Texas.
Okay.
But I don't need them.
Okay.
So I can transfer to the VA here in Little Rock, and I won't need an Arkansas license as well. But I'm not going to rely upon the VA because I have family members that are sick and getting older, and my purpose is to move back home, first of all, to help take care of them. Also, because somebody's going to need to take care of me when I'm at the point where I cannot take care of myself, and I need to be near my family. And my family's all here. Batesville, in fact.
Okay.
Which is where I'm going this afternoon after I leave here. Because my husband is 72 years old, 75. So, and we both have HIV, so the likelihood is that I will outlive him.
All right, does anyone else have any questions of this gentleman?
So to be clear, based on your notarized statement, the charge of indecent exposure and the issue was affected.
I just don't remember much of. I remember being arrested for. I don't even remember being arrested for this all deadly weapon, to tell you the truth. I did. Yes, sir, I did. You know how I remembered it? I had to go onto a website, pay a website to pull up the information that y'all asked for, that she asked for. And other than that, I didn't even know what it said. I didn't even know the disposition of what the assault charge was for. I still don't know what the disposition was. I just pulled what was straight from the court. No, sir, I'm not saying they did not. They did.
Okay, so whether you remember it or not, you take accountability for it now?
Absolutely, yes, sir, I do.
Okay. But you,
I don't remember specifics.
So it wasn't until after you filled out your application that then you remembered it?
I didn't even remember then. Honestly, once someone sent me that information, I had to look it up. And I could show you where I paid for it on the website to look it up to even see what it was about. Because it didn't give me the specifics of what y'all were asking for. It just said something showed up and I had to pull those records, which I printed out or did PDFs for on there. That's what I printed from the court.
Okay, so as I can tell, it looks like you have made your application in June. Check was received in July. Notarized statement was in August. So at some point you were notified that, hey,
Correct.
things came back on the background check?
Correct.
Any other questions? What is the will of the board? Oh, you're still reading? Okay.
How long have you been licensed in Texas?
I got my PTCB in 2000 in Texas when they started requiring it. As soon as they required it, 2004,
Okay, so you've been licensed in Texas since 2004.
21 years.
Okay.
And I've never even so much as had a speeding ticket since any of this incident happened. I'm just not that person anymore. I never have been. Apparently I made some stupid mistakes in my youth that I've never made since then. So apparently I learned from them.
I do have to, because you said something about your cognitive function, and I have to ask this question. Does your cognitive impairment affect your ability to practice as a pharmacy technician?
It only affects my long-term.
Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify with you.
Yes, it only affects things that are long-term memory. This is if I had a stroke and I have my long-term memory is foggy. That's what it's like.
Okay.
This also affects I also have a hearing loss as well and ringing in my ears. So several things come along with that. And I took that drug for almost 20 years. And then when I told my doctor about it, some of the side effects I had, he asked me to stop taking it. By that point, the nerve damage was already done. There's nothing I could do to reverse it. I take gabapentin 3 times a day for it. I have no choice.
But it doesn't impact your ability to competently perform?
No, because my current memory, what I do on a day-to-day basis, I'm very OCD, so I have no problems with that.
Okay.
No, doesn't affect my cognitive function on a day-to-day basis.
I may have overlooked it, but can you clarify for me, with the Texas board issue in August of 2004, exactly what the false information was that was provided?
It was the indecent exposure charge. So I didn't honestly, the whole incident from what I can remember of it, other than the arrest, I can't remember anything beyond that. So to me, it was a 2 or 3 hour incident that happened, and I've never been able to remember anything since that. So when they asked me, I'm like, well, I don't know. And I thought didn't exist, honestly.
So this looks like this current application you filed with Arkansas is very similar.
Kind of the same situation.
He didn't disclose they found it, and 20 years ago, this is how they handled that is, he came in informal, and I don't know if he did an informal, they did informals back then, but the decision that their board took was.
Did an informal.
Yeah. So hey, we'll grant it, but we're going to grant it and you can't use it for 2 weeks. So
This is basically a repeat of the same circumstance that occurred 21 years ago. Okay. Just want to be sure I was clear on that.
Now,
Bills.
however, now that particular thing showed up on the Texas State Board, but from my recollection or what they said to me, the assault charge y'all speaking of did not show up either. So I was so confused by what's showing up, what's not showing up on either one of these, to tell you the truth. To
The
be
assault
honest.
charge shows up, but there's no disposition. So I don't know what
even
happened.
remember. See, and I don't remember, so.
Maybe it got dismissed or whatever, and I'm sure it's going to be impossible for you to find those records from 1993,
Yeah, I
but
can't, I had to.
it does
just
show you were
turn off on the
convicted.
court. Yeah.
32.
I don't even, honestly, I don't remember being arrested for it, to tell you the truth. I only remember being arrested for the indecent exposure charge.
Along with the statement you just made. So you do remember being
I
arrested for
remember
the,
arrested, but I don't remember anything beyond that. The actual arrest, I have pictures of what happened when he arrested me. Because
Okay,
it was a traumatic
so-
event. Beyond that, I have no idea. The courts, the disposition, I had no idea. I had to look at it. I had to order it from Dallas County because I had no clue.
so you do recall that first
I remember that arrest.
arrest. So why did, when you filled out your application for Arkansas, did you not mark yes?
I don't know.
Dr. Booth?
Yep. I assumed it wouldn't show up 30-something years later.
Yep.
Because I worked for the federal government and they did a background check, including I have government clearance. Nothing showed up.
If you'll let Dr. Boone's got something.
Oh, sure, I'm
here.
sorry.
All right, so I would make a motion to approve the waiver. I think this, given that the assault charge would have appeared in front of us anyways.
Yeah.
Given the length of time, I'd make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve on the floor and a second. Any further discussion?
I would just say if this comes up again, always be sure and check yes if you're ever arrested.
Yes, sir.
That'll save you from having to come back in here and see us again.
Yes, sir. I'll never let my license lapse.
They all in favor,
I text them to go.
all in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The motion passes.
Good luck. Yep.
You are. Oh, okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Sorry for anything.
I was like, what'd you say?
We have anybody out there?
Hey, looks like he's with us now. There we go. Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm here.
on there.
If you right click Joan, it doesn't do it.
Hey, Chester, can you hear us, bud?
I can. I've got this robot going behind me, but I can hear.
Well, I think you are on mute.
Oh, I'm on mute. Okay. I've got my IT guy here. Can y'all hear me now? Can you hear me? You don't think I'm on mute, Tor?
I muted it. Turn on mine. Hold on.
Can you hear?
We're working on. We're gonna have to get somebody so we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. We had to switch computers this morning and we're having a little bit of an issue of exactly getting our settings the way that we thought they should be. So we'll have our IT person jump in here in just a second.
I understand.
That's, and you guys should have, there's a folder X, intermediary delivery station. And it's got the actual like kind of two rules that we went over with him on that. Yeah, Chester, we're going to take just a quick 5-minute break as we get our IT in here to try to, we'll keep working with you on trying to get the sound over to us.
Well, I can hear you fine. Okay.
Apparently he's out there throwing a fit.
Was it paid now? Yes, it is.
I guess yeah.
Yeah, he's paid it. Yeah.
The amount's different. I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
what we
fee.
thought. The fee.
Was actually coming to see if I could just push a chair.
Yeah. It works. Whatever I got here faster. Like, I think probably just like the green.
There we go. It goes instant speaker instead of speakers.
Well, I think that's the AV bridge. So, I mean, that's the same thing that they're using for the,
For everything. Just on.
you can try, yeah.
We're gonna get feedback when we turn on our speakers or our thing. I don't know that I.
Let me know if you want me to do a test.
course, like, that far off.
It broke the other way, right?
Right.
It's 4 o'clock.
Oh, that was. Close.
You too.
know if I could. Miss Ashley called me earlier. I didn't save her number, but we could do that, right? If you could look on my phone and see what her phone number was, it would be a 501 number.
It is a 501 number. I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear us now. Okay, good.
I can.
Oh, you can.
But the board members can't. So if you got John's number in the chat, just stay on video and then mute, and then just call in to that number that he gave you so that they can actually hear you. We don't know why they can't hear you for some reason.
Number for John, number?
I get a cell phone. I have a cell phone.
We have John's cell. Is that the one we need to call, Miss Ashley?
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's mute this, Tori, and call John's cell, and that way we can.
Okay. Yep. Then you'll be good to go.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Hey, Chester, I'm calling you on my cell phone. We'll just try to run it from here, old school.
He may be trying to call you, John, so.
Hey, it's John Curley trying to get back there to Chester. Thank you. She's like, who's John Curley? Hey, man, I can hear you. I'm going to put you on speaker over here so we can all be here together. There we go. So I don't know what's going on between Zooms, not even letting my computer in. We've got some technology hiccup, but we can see you and we can hear you now. So, hey, Chester, just to let you know who all we have in here today, we've got on the far end of the table from me, we've got Dr. Lynn Fouché, Dr. Rodney Richmond, Dr. Brian Jolly, Dr. Lenore Newsom, who's the chair of our informal conference, Dr. Clint Boone, Here on the other side, I have myself and Miss Ashley Vales, who is our legal counsel here at the board. The board members, while we've been doing all this technological, trying to figure out what's going on, they've had a chance to review kind of our email exchange back and forth. And the way I'm presenting this, we don't see a lot of pickup station requests, but I had sent you the pickup station rule, the prescription delivery standard, making sure those patients know where it's going. It looks like, I think you're about 35 miles from this location. The other store that would be closest to it is still like 19 or 20 miles a different direction. But you've got a new like prescriber's office and clinic that would qualify, since it's got a prescriber at least one day a week there and the clinic's open other times, to operate as a pickup station in Foreman, Arkansas.
That's correct, yes.
So
they will be open, I understand, full time, and yes, and they approached me about 3 weeks ago. Yes,
yeah. And
for this possibility.
And part of what we're trying to do here is, I know that they're trying to get this service started to help both the clinic and the patients pretty quick, and instead of waiting until February full board meeting on this. We've reviewed, it can't be pickup lockers. It actually has to be humans handing them the drugs. Any other issues or hangups that you've had to get through on this?
No, I mean, I appreciate the opportunity with the counseling as well, because after 42 years of practice, I know that a personal relationship anyway is how we build our practice to begin with. But the counseling part, I will handle that. And is it a problem if the delivery person is a contracted person through the pharmacy, and then the Mrs. Angie Walker, Dr. Walker's wife, who's their office manager, said that it would be okay for me to contract with a specific person that she has in mind at her clinic that would actually render the medicine, or give the medicine to the patient. We finalized a setup with Nimble today where the patients can sign for the medication and also pay for it through Nimble, through the pharmacy prior to the pickup. So that the designated person at the clinic would just then have to verify that we would give them verification that the person has signed for the medication and have paid for it, and they would then hand the medicine to that patient.
No, that's fine. We have that you have to have a designated representative of the pharmacy and pharmacist there. It does not have to be the prescriber. It could be someone else in the clinic to represent you, and who exactly they're paid by. We're fairly agnostic to that because we realize it's a pharmacy desert that has no other care otherwise.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we
appreciate that opportunity, and we have a number of people that drive up from Foreman to our area for pharmacy services and physician services, and that's why Dr. Walker is opening a satellite in that location.
Any questions any board members have for him?
Not for him, just for clarification for me. So the designated person in the clinic, that can be even the office manager?
Yes. Yeah, and Chester, what Dr. Richards asked is, just clarifying that the designated representative does not have to be the prescriber. It could be an office manager or some other representative, and we are saying, yes, that has been it. The designation in this is when you go through the rule itself, intermediary delivery stations after approval by the Board of Pharmacy may be operating clinics where a prescriber is in attendance at least one day per week and located in an area where it's that far. So, we could have a clinic that only operated one day a week that could have it for that day. Or you could, in theory, have a clinic that might be open to run labs or something like that without the prescriber there, and could still do it on the day the prescriber is there.
Okay. Well, I appreciate this opportunity.
Yeah. Well, they got to make a motion and a vote to see if they're going to let you do it first. So you might almost be there, but let's give them a second. So I'll turn over the board members for that.
Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion, please.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the request to allow the clinic and foreman to serve as a pickup station.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
So Chester,
Passes.
they just voted and we are approving that. We will shoot you back a message reflecting that. So if anybody asks or if our inspectors come by and go, wait a minute, where are all those drugs going? You'll have that letter, show them you've got a pickup station there in Foreman.
I appreciate that. And the clinic will open January the 2nd of next year. And with y'all's permission, thank you. We'll move forward. We appreciate all of your time and your concern.
Absolutely. If you got any other questions or issues with the man, give me a holler.
Will. You guys, you have a blessed day.
Absolutely. Thanks, Dr. Barber.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
I don't believe we had anybody else show up, but we will call the hall just in case. Yeah. Call all the names. After the morning, everybody came this afternoon, or a bunch of them did. We're good? All right, guys, that's all we have. Thank you so much for coming today. Appreciate it.